No, from my sources telling me that it was a play where Atlanta Roberts late hit Justin Fields. And so you know how the O line get up for the quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying? So the O line got up, if I'm not mistaken, it was the rookie McCorkle.
But
It
is
was a
that
it was a
smart?
rookie.
Is that smart?
That stood up.
Because Russell Wilson is hurt now, right? He's got the calf
Mm-hmm.
injury. Why would you be
Hmm.
trying to take a late hit
I have no idea.
to back up?
Caught him.
I
Caught him.
I have no idea. Now I'm not gonna condone it, but I do like the testosterone. You feel me? So I do like the scrappiness and the beefing and all that kind of stuff. Because normally any team that does that, or normally team that has that animosity and that drive, that you know what I'm saying, that obviously pushes them to fight. Normally it takes them further in the season. So
Hey, keep
I
it
love to
up.
see it. I love to
Keep
see
it
it.
up. Keep it. I love to see
Yeah.
it too, man. I love to
Yeah.
see it too. Go ahead and get that QB2 up out of there, man.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that though. He might be number one. You never know.
He might. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this is the
Yeah.
opportunity for him to do it because
He
we went through the calf strain with Burrow last year. That calf strain is
right,
serious. Like,
right.
this is an opportunity where Justin has kind of the doors opened a little bit for him to
Mm-hmm.
be able to come in and take that position. So, yeah, I would understand
Yeah.
if the offensive line got upset about somebody hitting him.
Yeah.
Come
Like
on.
at the end of the day, like you said, because we had a couple other injuries too. But with that being said, when you talking about your quarterback, I mean, these are two brand new quarterbacks that we're trying to get used to the system. So if one of them already coming in with a tight calf because the coach want to have him pushing sleds, which I don't understand.
Wow.
Um, right. Yeah, I don't understand why they would have him do that. But yeah. If I'm O line, I'm stepping on somebody too. Somebody that's messing with my quarterback. Yeah,
And
I'm
you
stepping
talking
on.
about the other injury you're talking about is what? Roman Wilson?
Yeah, Roman Wilson. Yeah, it was reported that he got a ankle sprain, so it's not
Yeah, so
that
he
serious.
should
They
be
said it's
back.
like day to day.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, as soon as I seen it and I seen him go out on the cut, I said, man, that ain't looking good. You know what it is when they go out on the cut. But
Is
yeah, they
is
said it
the
was day to day.
expectations is the expectations of the Steelers to play Justice in the preseason because it was an open
Justin
competition?
Fields.
Yes.
I mean, I think they pretty much gonna work them both out. I mean, I think that obviously, I think when going into it, Mike Tomlin gave Russell
Yep.
Wilson, leeway to be number one. So I think at this point, it's his job to lose. Like I said, with the calf strain,
How bad
with
is the calf
with
strain?
Justin, they said it wasn't that bad, but I mean, they're trying to like slow walk him into it. Of course, because
Yeah.
he's a little bit older, and they don't want to exacerbate it any more than it already is. So I'm trying to give him, work him in a little bit. I think last practice he had a couple handoffs. I didn't really see or hear what he did today, but I know the last practice he went into, which was their fifth practice, he had did a couple handoffs and was just doing a couple little soft throws, but nothing as far as like actually getting into the motion.
So that being said, let's go here to the ranking. J. I know you had some technical difficulties last
Yeah,
week.
that
If
they
you went
couldn't
back and saw,
they couldn't handle the heat, you know.
you saw the roast at the end when you
All right.
said best in history, I think it was, or one
Best
of the
in
best in
history.
history, or
I was saying I was mentioning the best in like Steeler history. They were like
Oh, you forgot to
top
put
my
Steelers
top
right
ah
10 in
now.
the Steeler history.
So
I
you
got
can't
you
even
there with
ah.
that.
decipher them.
Yeah, I didn't elaborate. I didn't go into depth, and that was the point.
That
I like
trigger
that.
that triggers some people.
Yeah, I like the trigger because
Okay,
y'all was
now
like best in the world.
You
yeah,
were like,
now
what is going on? You had me going to Google looking up
yeah,
historical
Ace brought
offensive
No,
everybody.
no,
standings.
no, not the best tandem. Because I mean, of course, they got a ways to go before they can even get to that. You know what I'm saying? Like I probably would say maybe at least another 5 6 years consecutively together for them to even like have that conversation. But I definitely they have been making noise and making those numbers and the strides as far as Steeler history.
Got it. So
So
now let's start with the L's, and I'll go with you first, Mister J Rock. Who do you have as the number 4 interior D lineman in the NFL, not the NFL, sorry, in the AFC North.
And, and so these are just nose tackles, right?
This is no, but
Defensive
you
interior.
guys, you guys play a 3-5 base, right? So it's your nose and the D tackle,
Three.
D end.
And one text.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hand
So,
to the
so
dirt.
okay. That's hard, man. That's tough. That's tough. You know how I want to rock. I'm gonna have to swallow the pill. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh number 4.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh number 4. Um,
I just saw
and it,
Ace
and it,
perk up.
and it's based strictly off of numbers. Now it's not based off potential
Wait,
because
you
I
gonna
think
put Cam Hayward number 4?
I'm trying to tell you. Look, listen to me. But it's
Right,
strictly based
right.
off number because when we think about the other D linemen, I mean Cam is getting up there in age. We all know that he's a little bit older. The last few years he's been missing time with injuries and stuff like that. And so he's been producing, but not obviously he can't produce to the level that he could if he was healthy all year. I love the young boy that we got in Keanu Benton. I think he's going to do amazing. But he still has to prove himself. But you have other teams in the division and other players in the division who have already made that step and have already proven to be able to have those abilities. That's not to say that our young boy Keanu Benton couldn't overtake these players within the next year or two. He could have a monster year this year, and I think that he will. But with that being said, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with my boys until he can prove otherwise. Until
You don't
he's
like Larry
speaking,
Ogunjobi either?
I like Larry Ogunjobi. And he does what we need him to do. But I mean, when you stack them up against all the other teams in the division, I had to be real when it comes to that.
Q, since you were surprised by his 4th, who you have as 4th?
Oh, Cincinnati.
Ravens. Oh
No. No.
That was last
Cincinnati.
week's show.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, DJ Reader ain't there no more, right? They replaced him. They brought in Sheldon Rankins. It's not a well, it is a downgrade, but it's not like a giant downgrade. But you go from somebody who I thought was maybe up there in the top 5 of all 3 techs in the NFL to Sheldon Rankins, who I'm like, he's a solid starter. Like, I don't think he's that much of a game changer for you. He's kind of like in a similar class that I put BJ Hill in. And those are 2 solid, like 3 techs. The depth is where I worry about this unit. Not the biggest fan of Zachary Carter coming out of Florida. Haven't really been overtly impressed with what I've seen out of him. When I scroll through the rest of this roster, don't really see much there. I know you guys spent a draft pick on the interior, Chris Jenkins, right, from Michigan.
Yep.
Was not one of my favorite prospects coming out. McKinley Jackson out of Texas A&M. My only worry is that he plays a 1 tech, but he's not big enough to be a 1 tech when it comes to like his wingspan from when I saw him at the Senior Bowl. I don't know what they haven't listed. They haven't listed 6'2", 325. He's much closer, like 6 foot, 290 from what I saw there. Don't think he has a good first step. He's going to be a player that people like in the preseason. I just don't think he's going to be able to do anything during the season. It's a solid starting defensive line, defensive interior with Sheldon Rankins and Zachary Carter. I think everybody else just has more along their defensive line than Cincinnati does. I think Cincinnati, I think they're probably the weakest defensive interior room in this whole division. Not probably, definitely. I put them 4.
Ace.
Yeah, I don't know if me and J Rock were sharing notes or something like that before, but he said everything like I said. Cam Hayward is turning 36, bro. He was hurt last year. He didn't play much. He only ended up with 2 sacks, I believe. And when you get older, which I've seen this before, I had a future Hall of Famer on my team, Geno Atkins. As soon as you start getting up there in age, the body starts breaking down. And we saw that last season with Cam Hayward. So to expect Cam Hayward to be like, if he was like 30 or something like that, sure. But this is Cam Hayward that's turning 36, coming off of an injury. And outside of him, like J Rock is saying, they only have Keanu Benton, who only had 1 sack last season. So when you look at the rest of that,
whoa! Where is this Larry Ogunjobi erasure?
Yeah,
Larry Ogunjobi has been okay for them, but he hasn't been like Larry Ogunjobi like that we're used to.
He was just
and he's been
any other year of his career.
He's been solid, but he's been more solid when it comes to run support.
Yeah.
So as far as making those tackles,
we're talking
which
about.
Q knows is not really his strength. Like Larry Ogunjobi is known for getting.
He's a role player, but like he's still a more significant role player than what a lot of other teams have in that third defensive tackle role, though.
I mean, with Larry Ogunjobi, I honestly don't expect him to be a run stopper. Like when he was on our team before he had the injury where
he's a pass rusher, 3-tech.
Yep. Yeah, but he was getting like 7, almost 8 sacks. Like with the Steelers, he had 1, I think, last year, and then he had 3 or 1 the first.
I'm about to say 3 last year.
3 the year after that. Like he's had. If you're talking about from a pass rushing standpoint, he's had like 2 of his worst seasons with them. So like it's not the same. Larry
was number 3 in the Steelers for pressures last year, though. Like he still was getting back there.
But he only had, I'm a sack guy. He only had 3 sacks.
Yeah,
he only had 3 sacks, which is
that's the conversation we had with Myles Garrett.
25
and his win rates.
25 stops. We're like they were just tossing this dude aside.
I'm not saying that we're tossing him aside, but like he hasn't been the Larry Ogunjobi that he was in Cleveland and Cincinnati. Like
that's what I'm saying though. Larry Ogunjobi right now would start for the Cincinnati Bengals, and we're like acting like him being the third option.
I'm not sure that he would. I don't think
in Baltimore. It's
I don't
just
think
like
he would start over Sheldon Rankins and BJ Hill. We replaced him with BJ Hill.
You got BJ Hill, but I don't know if like BJ Hill is that much more productive than what you're gonna get out of him. But I'll let that go.
Nah, it's all good. So like to me, outside of that room, I think like J Rock is saying, I think they need more bodies there. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't draft more defensive interior for them. Like I said, Cam Hayward, the age is pretty much the main factor I'm putting him there. I mean, obviously he's a future Hall of Famer. I just don't know what they expect out of Cam Hayward. So that's why I got them number 4.
Yes, I have. It's crazy because I'm completely in agreement with Q. Like everything. We're talking about, I think these 2 teams are very close, right? We're talking Steelers and Bengals in this room. Like you, I think the Bengals are similar, but I feel like Reader was better than my other guy, the guy that got signed from Houston.
They don't play the same position. Like DJ Reader is a nose.
I know. I know. But I'm just saying in the totality of the D line.
We're talking about effectiveness. We all know that DJ Reader just affects the game more than what Sheldon Rankins was in Houston.
Yeah. So when we talk about Cam Hayward, yes, he's older. I still think he is better than both BJ Hill and Rankins, right? And then you have Ogunjobi right there as your other guy. And if you put them 1 and 4 and the other one, you can potentially put them 2 and 3. I still think Cam will pull between those 4 more than the other total. And after those guys, if we talk those 4 players and the defensive linemen, after those guys, it's all question marks for both teams. This for me is all question marks between rookies or second-year players, right? I just have questions upon questions. And the thing is, right, we were talking last week about pass rushing and all this for the players, and this is one of the things I think it would affect the pass rush for both teams. For me right now, I feel like because of experience, I will give the edge as number 3. I guess this is giving you my 3 to the Steelers versus the Bengals at 4. I think the Bengals, we'll see also how Rankins fits in a team. This is something I talked before, right? I like him as a player, but even with the Ravens, we have players that I thought it was going to be a good fit, or I thought they were going to be good players. They come here, they don't produce as good as others places, right?
Derrick Henry.
Well, we'll see with Henry, right? We'll see with Henry. That's something I said in the running back ranking, right? We'll see with Henry. This is true for any new player for any team. This is not. I'm not trying to pick on a specific player/team. This is true for any player that you bring as free agent. If it hits well, and if it doesn't, you notice it real quick. So we'll see in the Bengals side. I have them 4th because of that. Like I said, I think they're very close. they're almost interchangeable. I think one has a future quasi Hall of Famer, definitely a potential former Pro Bowl guy that if he's healthy, I think makes that room better than the other room. That's why I have Bengals 4, Steelers 3. J Rock, tell me your 3.
Obviously, my three gotta go with the Bengals. And like I said, I'm only saying that because I think that they have a little bit more depth. Going into what Ace was talking about. Once Cam go out, I mean Keanu Benton is gonna come in and put that work in. And I think because he's getting a little bit older, they already give him some of Cam's playing time anyway. But if Keanu Benton got to play the whole time, the next up to me would be Cincinnati because they have just a little bit more depth. Um, I like the addition with Sheldon Rankins. I like BJ Hill, what he does on the inside. And I think they've been solid. I think that they had to prove that they can, keep that work that magic up the middle, especially with Sheldon Rankins coming in, or like you said, replacing DJ Reader. But yeah, I got the Bengals at 3.
Ooh, Derek Brown.
Q, who's your 3?
I have to put the Steelers at 3. Cam Hayward is getting older. I still think he is capable of putting together a decent year there. 3 tech is not a position where it has been shown that like age can limit you that much. I mean, we saw Calais Campbell pretty much put good seasons together till he's still in the league. He was 38.
Yeah, he just signed.
Not to say Cam Hayward is going to be Calais Campbell. I don't think it's outside the range of possibility that Cam Hayward is more on that side than somebody who's just going to flame out. I mean, this is a dude who's been good at plus 30 forever.
A long time.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if he had a strong comeback there. I like Keanu Benton. I think he's one of the more intriguing interior pass rushers in the league. I expect him to make a little bit of more of a leap here going into an offseason, being able to get stronger. You complement that with what you have in Larry Ogunjobi, and I think that that's going to be a nice little rotation that they have in there. It's also difficult to judge some of these, especially when it comes to Pittsburgh and Baltimore, because we're comparing teams that play 2-3 techs to teams that play 2-3 techs in the nose, right? Which is a little bit different with Baltimore and Pittsburgh, where you're kind of looking at the production for somebody who plays on that edge 3 tech kind of position, like as more as an edge rusher when it comes to stats. So yeah, I put Pittsburgh there at 3. I think that's just a more sound unit. I feel better about that unit holding up over the course of the season than I do Cincinnati. There's ceiling issues there with Pittsburgh. I don't really see anybody really raising that ceiling. Like, even though I like Keanu Benton, I don't think he's going to have a Justin Matabuke type, like turn in him where he gets 15 sacks. So, good room, solid enough room. They'll be decent against the run. But I do worry about the upside there.
Okay, Ace.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. I'm going with the Bengals 3rd here. I mean, Sheldon Rankins is coming off of a good season. He's also proven that he can play for several different teams and several different schemes. The difference between him and DJ Reader is DJ Reader's amazing, right? But DJ Reader makes an impact in the run game. And I think that the Bengals run game won't be good without him. But when you talk about the pass rush game, Sheldon Rankins is an upgrade considering what the Bengals had at that position. And then you couple that with BJ Hill. You talk about Sheldon Rankins coming off a season where he had 6 sacks, 12 pressures. BJ Hill had 14 QB knockdowns, 4.5 sacks, 23 pressures, 2 interceptions, and a 2.3 missed tackle rate. So you're not like, these guys are going to get after the passer from an interior pass rush perspective. When you talk about the rest of the room, I agree with J-Rock. Like, they added depth there. Like, if the Steelers were to draft some guys, and I know we don't put much into account with rookies. I mean, I do, but I feel like the Bengals went after it like they needed more bodies in that room, and they went and got a guy like Chris Jenkins, who's a pretty good run defender, hasn't shown much as a pass rusher. Like, he has potential, but he hasn't shown that necessarily. And then you got McKinley Jackson, who's basically going to play the DJ Reader role, which is a first, second down, run stopping type guy. Now, he's not going to be DJ Reader, right? But that's going to be his role there. And so I feel like when I look at the Bengals room, they have stuff there. Zach Carter, I don't even know if he gets on the field this season because Chris Jenkins really might take his spot or somebody else might take his spot in terms of those reps because, like Q has said, he hasn't shown anything. I don't even know if he's going to make the roster, to be quite honest. But to me, I'm giving the edge over the Bengals just based on the depth and what we have there, and me not expecting Cam Hayward to be that guy. Geno Atkins was a 3-tech too, and he fell off.
Got it. Okay. Before we keep going, let's talk about our guy, Chris Gates, Fitness Training Camp, our sponsor for today's show. Shout out to him. He has an amazing program. Description below with the link. There's still the early access where the first one is $10. After that, you get regular price, which is $50 a month. Go check it out. This training camp includes just fitness programs with new exercise every month. And he will coach you through it. The program is a community design, so there's a community Facebook page with only for the people that they are in the program. You learn how to make subtle progress while being in a group. Tons of fun, provide accountability and support. Members get new workout program every month. Like I said, you can build muscle, burn fat, and feel healthier and more athletic. In the training camp community, we'll have challenges every month with prizes awarded like home gym equipment, supplements, free coaching calls, and more. You'll get tons of support through Q&A and Chris community learning modules that teach you about diet and exercise and hundreds of videos and tutorials. You get everything for less than what you pay for coffee each week, and the discount makes it even more affordable. And the main thing here is all these workouts are geared to sports workouts. So if you love sports, all these workouts are sport-related workouts. So go check it out. Description below. Chris Gate Fitness Training Camp. Go check him out. Okay. I think here is where we might get a little bit spicy.
This is going to get spicy.
I'm going to start with you, J-Rock. Who you have at number 2?
Yeah. I was about to say, y'all went y'all number 3 already?
Oh, you did your number 3. Yeah, you did.
No, I'm talking about y'all. I'm talking about you. And Quincy.
Yeah,
I did?
We did it.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. Yeah, so going to my number 2, I'm gonna go Baltimore. I'm gonna go Baltimore because I like Michael Pierce. Michael Pierce is a people eater, and they've had a lot of help with he's had help on the line with Justin Madubuike. I think that he's great. Last year, 24 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble from Michael Pierce. But when he gets on that line, he's such a big boy, man. It's hard to do anything like up that middle. He eats everything up. Reminds me back in the day, Casey Hampton. But he's just one of them ones where in the middle is not a whole lot you can do if you're gonna try to run, and that's why Baltimore is so solid on the run. So yeah, I definitely think that Michael Pierce, Justin Madubuike, I think that Broderick Washington is that backup, the third one. Okay, but yeah, they got a solid, decent run, but the Ravens are my number 2.
Okay, Ace.
Yeah, man, this is tough because I think one room might have more depth than the other, like especially when you look at some of their offseason transactions, some of the guys that they grabbed in the draft. And as much as I want to put them first, Justin Madubuike, I mean, the season that he's coming off of as one of the top pass rushing D tackles in the league, I can't, like, you guys know sometimes I'm like, that guy is in that room. I don't know if I'm going to take the room with that guy. And I think when you look at it, like, they still have a solid room. Like, Travis Jones has a lot of potential. I think if that's your third guy, you know, he's flashed a little bit. You got Michael Pierce, as J-Rock talked about. You got Josh Tupou. So for me here, I'm going to go with the Browns here. I actually feel like they're a little bit deeper and they have more potential, but they just don't have a guy like Justin Madubuike in that room. So for those reasons, I got to go there. I really like what the Browns have done, though. Shelby Harris, I think he just got hurt, but he had 5 quarterback knockdowns. He had 8 pressures. Dalvin Tomlinson actually gave them more juice in the pass rush. 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 14 pressures, 8 quarterback knockdowns. Mike Hall is a guy that I really like out of Ohio State. I think that he has a ton of potential. His issue has been staying healthy, but if he's able to stay healthy in the league, I think that they get a lot of juice and athleticism from that standpoint. And then you talk about Quentin Jefferson. They added another guy that had 6 sacks this offseason. So me putting them second, I don't think that they're a bad team in the division, and it's potentially they can move up to first if Justin Matabuke doesn't return to the form that he had in his contract year. But as it stands now, I got to put the Browns second.
Cute.
Yeah, I put the Browns here at number 2. The Browns have volume on their side, right? You have Dalvin Tomlinson, you have Shelby Harris, you have Maurice Hurst, who I thought had a pretty good year last year, Michael Hall, and what they brought in Quentin Jefferson, who apparently had 8 sacks according to Pro Football Focus. I know sometimes they don't count half sacks there, so I don't know. Yeah, but it's something to look at when it comes to the depth that Cleveland has. They have 6 guys that they can roll out there, feel pretty good at. And I don't think any other team can say that. Most of these other rotations are about 3-4 deep. But they don't have anybody who has the playmaking acumen of Justin Matabuke or has playmake at that level, right? Dalvin Tomlinson, I thought he had a little bit of a down year last year. I expect him to be better this year, but still not the playmaker that Justin Matabuke was in that interior. And you could say the same about everybody else in that interior. Maybe Michael Hall becomes that in a couple of years, but I don't think that's necessarily going to happen this year. I would say if we're going deepest, you could say the Browns are the deepest room because, again, they can go so far down that rotation and be fine. And we're talking about a rotation where 2 of them are going to be on the field, not necessarily 3. So it's even it's 3 deep. It's 3 teams deep there. So that's really valuable. But I think if they did have and go out and get a DJ Reader in the offseason or somebody who could have, the Christian Wilkins they tried to go after, that would definitely put them up there with Baltimore. But right now, Baltimore got the guy with the juice, and the guy with the juice is Justin Matabuke. It's a nice complement of guys that they have there with Travis Jones, Broderick Washington, and I'm pretty sure. Big
Pierce.
fella, Michael Pierce, big old Michael Pierce. Every time I want to show off how painful football could be, I'll just go and point out Michael Pierce and be like, that dude just runs around and hits people. That is a big man. That's a big squatted man. He can't be more than 6'2". But yeah, 6 foot 355. Lord. So yeah, I think Baltimore probably has the best interior room, and it's by design too. Cleveland wins on the edge with Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith in that rotation of edge guys there. Baltimore, they don't win on the edge as much. They win by just pure pressure on the inside, hoping that it collapse the offensive line from the inside out. So it's just 2 different philosophies there. We'll see if Matabuke can repeat that, because it is a little bit alarming that he went from, hey, man, this dude's pretty good, to 15 sacks. Part of me wonders, is that replicatable? Is that something that he just did one time? Is this a bar that he's going to continue to have to reach? Or is this just a sign of who he's going to be going forward? I don't know. But it might have just been opportunity too that cost them the ability to be up there. But it was a very quick meteoric rise for him as one of the better rushers in the interior. But still that man, still the one that got 15 sacks. The pressure numbers are pretty good there too. I believe he had 77 of them. So if you're a pressure guy, if you're a sack guy, you have to love those numbers, because high pressure numbers and high sack numbers suggest to me this is a dude who was just winning a lot. Pass rush win rate of 14.6, right? Number 1 in the AFC North. You would like to see him get some bat downs just to add to that repertoire. But I mean, if this is who Justin Matabuke is in the future, that's the best defensive tackle in the whole division. And if you got the best D tackle in the whole division, then you're probably going to have the best room.
Yep, I'm with Q to today's show and everything. I like the Browns room, and think about this. 2 years ago, we were talking about how The
Whew.
press was that room in the Browns.
That was one of the worst rooms in like modern NFL history.
Yeah,
Like I called it the
atrocious.
welcome to Walmart defensive interior because it would come on in, go get 50. Like go look at what they did against Buffalo in that game they played in Detroit because of all the weather and COVID stuff going on during that year. And you'll just see what I mean by this defensive line could not hold a line or stay disciplined to stay its life. And it's amazing that they've gotten to the point to where they have more bodies than they can throw at the problem. I mean, y'all been on this show with me since 2018, 2019. I was screaming for this to happen for like 4 straight years. Hey, we need to invest in the defensive line. So I'm happy that we're this deep. But I'm always going to push for more. I do want that one superstar, right? I need that one guy there, you know?
And you know what? I get it because there like pressure from the edges is amazing, but if you can create pressure from the inside, that's destructive. Because when pressure comes from a quarterback right away, it's in his face, right? If he's on the edge, the potential of a turnover is bigger, but not necessarily the potential of disrupting in the play if the quarterback doesn't feel it and it can get the ball out. If the guy from the middle beats this guy, it just the quarterback. Forget about the quarterback just panics. If he sees somebody coming clean, he forgets about the route at that moment, right? He falls. He just gonna throw it quick, throw it away. That is the play is done.
Willie Anderson actually told me that because he was like, it sounds crazy, but like the edge rusher, the quarterback can see them coming. They can do stuff to evade them. And he was like, but if they get somebody in their lap, there's literally nothing that they can do.
Which is why defenses had to adjust it to doing what? How much more often do you see Myles Garrett just pop up in the inside, right, over the A gap? Because also what happens in the interior is that you can catch a guy on the island a lot easier in the interior than you can on the outside, right? On the outside, you can have a running back chip, you have a tight end come chip, you can have another guard slide over. But if you have 2-jet, 3-jet protection and you pick the wrong man side, right? So if you just slide to the wrong part, you leave your center with the two-way go with Myles Garrett, and it's almost impossible to stop. So I think that's where a lot of the league is going, is trying to take advantage of that, because offenses also, like protections especially, have not evolved with where defenses are getting to. And it's something you're going to see happen more and more, where defenses have been evolving and evolving and evolving over the last 5 years, and offense has been stagnant. We're going to see that come to a head, I think, in this year, where defense is going to continue to dominate.
Yeah, and this is what so what my point was, Browns have made strides, right? In the last 2 years, they went from bottom feeders to hell of the interior D lineman, which also has helped elongate Myles Garrett's career. This is something that everything ties together. Before that, Myles Garrett was basically their only dude. They're not only putting another guy that is good on the other side of the pass rush side, they also bolster that interior D line, which also helps their back end and so far, right? So I like the D line, right? They're veteran guys. I feel like one of the things that they're missing is a young guy, right? These are seasoned guys. All their guys are seasoned guys. They're good players. They're seasoned guys. We'll see if one of the young guys can come and be, that other guy with them. So yeah, depth-wise, I like what the Browns do. I actually think they're one of the better D-lines in the league. I think they're top 10 D-line in the league. The thing is, for me and the Ravens, it's not only Maravika. Maravika is a hell of a player. I love Maravika. You can see his progression every year. One of the best things that Baltimore did was getting Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell helped a lot on the progression and on the growth of Maravika. Michael Pierce is the oldest of this D-line, of the starters at least. Great player. He's there also to teach Travis Jones. Travis Jones, another player that is impactful. You can see last year how he has progressed. And I think what the Ravens have done, they're not as deep as Q was saying. I agree with that. But we're talking about 5 good, solid, above solid players, right? Between Jones, Pierce, Maravika, and Washington. And then you have Urban can be your rotation, your 5th rotational guy, but he's good. Also older vet. But I think these players, in my opinion, better depth. And then you have Marabike, which of all these players is the only one currently that you can say, yes, a Pro Bowl guy, top of the league in that position. So that's why I have the Ravens. One and then two for the Browns. Both D lines are really good. J Rock, I believe you haven't given your number one.
Yeah, so obviously my number one is going to be the Browns, man. As everybody was speaking on earlier, Cleveland just got that depth, man. They got bodies on bodies, and I'm a firm believer in even Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh has been able to do over the last few years with injury after injury is win by committee. So that if you can go in there and win by committee, you can have 2 to 3 different sets of decent good to good pass rushes in the middle that's going to get you or run stoppers in the middle that's going to be able to get you effective play, going to be able to stop the run, going to be able to get sacks and pressures on the quarterback, then I'm with that. I would love to have a superstar and which would deem as just a Metabike. But I think that like Q was I mean like Ace was saying, it's kind of taboo how he was able to kind of like uh go from one year to kind of mediocre to the next year be a Pro Bowler, so I was trying to like figure that out, understand, but like I said, it's not for me to understand, but I do know that he just got paid, so I definitely want to see what he does after this big payday. The numbers as far as players when they get paid the next season, how well they do is not in his favor. So like I said, when we speak about the consistency of him doing well, I would definitely like to see him do well this upcoming season after he, is able to kind of like lean into his money a little bit and now see what else he can do. But like I said, when it comes to the depth, I'm all by committee. So that's really, like I said, why I got Cleveland number one. Like I said, Shelby Harris and Delvin Tomlinson, you did work last year. They did what Cleveland needed them to do. And the depth that they have behind them is going to do pretty much the same thing, just maybe not on the level of just a Metabike. So I'll take it.
Okay, so Ace, so you gave your number one?
Yeah, my number one is going to be the Ravens, primarily because of Justin Matabuke. I think, like you guys have said, we got a spammer in the chat, by the way, impersonating somebody. But like everyone has said, like when you look at the Ravens, they have depth, but Justin Matabuke with the crazy 15 sack season, you just can't ignore that. Like I can't sit here and bet on. Like, I don't know if he's going to get 15 sacks, but he could get 10 or 11, right? Like, and that's the system that he's used to playing in. He's playing with Mike McDonald. Obviously, that's helped out his career. Mm-hmm. I think he's comfortable in the system, so it's not like he's playing in a new system. So I expect him to kind of repeat. I mean, he's still young as well. So the thing that made it hard is, like J-Rock is saying, like, I don't think there's a weakness in the Browns locker room. And Quincy also brought up Hurst as well. Like, they about 6-7 deep over there. So it's kind of crazy what they have in that locker room. And it was hard for me to kind of go with the other one. But I just had to go with, the guy that was Matabuke at All-Pro this season.
I think he was second team All-Pro.
Second team All-Pro. Like, I know he definitely was going to the Pro Bowl and stuff like that. But, I mean, when you look at it, he's evolved into one of the best players in the division if he can keep it up. So to me, that's the only edge that I give to Baltimore is that. But I have to agree with Sonny. It's not just him. There's other pieces in that locker room as well. Young pieces, veteran pieces that have been solid. So I'm going to get an edge to Baltimore as it stands now. But like you said, if Michael Carter can evolve into kind of a Justin Matabuke in a couple of years, maybe that brings him up. But as it stands right now, I don't see any weaknesses in the Ravens locker room. The other guy they also added, who I'm familiar with, Josh Tupou, he's a very solid defensive lineman as well. Like, he might not be a big name, but if you go and look at some of his PFF metrics, some of the stuff that he did in Cincinnati, he's actually pretty solid. So they added him to that room, which I was kind of shocked to see that. I was a little frustrated to see that as well when I saw Josh Tupou got added to the Ravens, but I got to go with the Ravens as it stands now.
Okay. Fambo. The Fambo here has 45% Ravens, Browns at 31, Bengals third place with 13%, Steelers with 11. So close, but the Bengals take the edge. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking probably middle linebacker. That's about to get spicy into another level.
And we'll be getting ready for the first preseason action of the year.
That is correct.
I saw that the NFL 100 rankings came out and they gave Roquan Smith number 19. Feels a bit high, but hey, they also gave Aaron Rodgers number 92. So like for half a snap. Them putting Roquan Smith at 19 kind of confirmed to me everything I needed to know about that list, because I was going for a long time. That list is about brand power. Joe Burrow off 10 games, number 39. I remember when they took Miles off the list because he only played 10 games. It's not a real list. They got Aaron Rodgers out there, 92. Aaron Rodgers is the 92nd best player last year. He played 2 snaps. 2 snaps. That's crazy. They published that and then made it put it on TV. They nobody decided, hey dog, this look a little bit ridiculous. But Roquan Smith being at 19, that makes sense because a lot of people think he good. That's not my argument. My argument isn't that a lot of people think he good. My argument is he not as good as a lot of people think. And I don't think he's the 19th best player in the NFL. Really don't think that.
Okay,
we definitely gonna test that out next week.
Hey,
we'll be talking about this
the
next
third
week.
best player on his own defense.
We'll be talking about this next week. It's definitely gonna be a spicy episode. I can guarantee that. I think all teams are gonna try to claim.
I can't wait for Raven fans to tell me that Roquan Smith and Trenton Simpson is the next Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. I can't
absolutely not.
No, we're talking Cal Hamilton.
I'm about to say that.
Damn, bro, what are you talking? It's just
I'm about to say I know you ain't talking about Eddie Jackson.
See, look, we're not even about to do that.
Eddie Jackson.
Kyle Hamilton is best when he has his hand in the dirt. That's the Ravens' best pass rusher. Like,
okay. We'll talk about the safety. Another spicy show.
That's really T Sizzle. What you mean?
Okay.
Told you defense gonna be crazy because that's what we all lean on, defense.
Hey man, Roquan Smith about to get 100 tackles. What's that average depth? No, nobody want to talk about the average depth of that tackle.
I don't know if we leaning on defense in Cincinnati, J-Rock. I don't know if we really leaning on that.
Not no more. Not no more. Shit, y'all might have to because I don't know if Burrow gonna be able to carry it by himself. Burrow and what's his name, Chase.
Oh yeah, come on now.
Ooh, can we have
9-8 with a trash defense and now Joe back? I think we're gonna be all right.
So as you see, this
did the best linebacker in the AFC North, does he play for Pittsburgh? Does he play for Cleveland? That's gonna be the real question. Or Cincinnati. Is Logan back in it?
Yeah,
he ain't put Baltimore in the conversation.
Hey, look, no,
Roquan ain't in the conversation.
Hold on now. I'm not about to be super disrespectful. I think Roquan Smith is one of the best in the league when it comes to hovering over a gap and then running backwards. Like nobody does that better. Step. Oh, okay, and then tag it. Like if this was flag football, Roquan Smith would be elite.
He'd be an all-star.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he rallies. Nobody rallies to the ball carrier quite like Roquan after somebody else gets there first.
We will see this next week. Anybody, thank you for coming. We'll see you next time. Peace out.